What's going on, guys? This is another episode of the MMA Complex. My name is Josh.
And I'm James.
It is Friday, April 6th, late night sesh right here. It's the night before UFC 223. Um, what a week, man. What a week, right? And actually, what a 24-hour period
hmm
has been. So I'm sure everybody out there that's listening or watching or whatever is up to date on everything. I don't know how you could not. It's pretty much everywhere. It's on mainstream media, all that. UFC 223 has had some changes. You got the injury of Ferguson on Sunday. You had the replacement of Max Holloway Monday. You had uh, leading up to the weigh-ins, uh, Holloway deemed unfit to fight, too much weight to cut in a short amount of time, couldn't do it. Two replacements, Iaquinta and Felder. No, actually, Pettis and Felder were denied due to pretty much not making weight, basically, right? And actually, with Felder, it was because he wasn't ranked close enough in rank to Khabib. And then they ended up going with Iaquinta replacing Max Holloway and replacing Ferguson. So Al Iaquinta is the new main event with Khabib. And even though it's not in the eyes of the commission, it is for a title. Dana White said if Iaquinta wins, pulls off the victory, he's a 155-pound champ. And that's where we're at now. It's from 13 fights on Thursday to 9 ending in Friday. 24-hour period. Losing fights. Not to mention Conor McGregor, the X Factor and all this. Conor McGregor, the night before Thursday night, Labov has some interactions with Khabib. His team is him alone. And then you have Conor the next day, media day, weigh-ins, or right? Was it media day or
Media day.
it was a media day, right? Shows up and pretty much gets in through some credentialed media outlet that he actually owns. I forgot what they're called. Gets in there and basically attacks a bus filled with fighters. Some of the main card, pretty much the entire card, if not the main card at least, and some of Khabib's team members were on there too. Not Khabib himself. Throws a dolly through the window, throws a couple of chairs, some of his crew. Artem Labov is actually involved. And then you have people like Michael Chiesa, who is injured, who had some glass shrapnel to the face. You have Ray Borg, who had some glass in the eye. So their fights were scrapped. Actually, Labov was fighting Artem with Chiesa anyway, so that fight was scrapped due to Artem being involved. And then that's pretty much where we're at now. Conor booked and I think released, I guess, facing assault charges. He was able to go back to Ireland. I forgot what kind of charges he's actually involved in. But I think one of them's assault at least. And then, yeah, we had a couple of weigh-ins, a couple of press conferences. I don't know if you caught the press conference. Did you catch that?
Nah, I wasn't interested in it.
The one with the whole lineup of the next couple of fights. You know, that was pretty good. There was a lot of shit talking on that. We'll get to that later on, but that was really
Yeah, I
good.
didn't catch it.
Really,
Some of the fights I'm not too interested in it. Some fights I'm into it, but for the most part, I thought it was gonna be.
yeah, it's pretty short. If you get a chance, catch it. It's pretty short. A lot of shit talking. Really, really entertaining. Um, and the return of Brock Lesnar potentially this year. So a lot to get to. I guess we'll start off with the person who's making all the rounds in the news lately, and that's Conor McGregor. One Conor McGregor. So pretty much got the gist of the story. What's your take on all this?
I think it's disgusting, and I think Connor deserves to get punished for what he did. I think it's just really disgusting what he did.
Yeah. What else?
Um, it's pretty much my take. I think I feel bad for the other fighters who weren't involved.
Yeah.
They were innocent, but I think it's very distasteful on Connor's part. If it would have been different if it was just Khabib and Connor, or Khabib's team and Connor. But the fact that other fighters were involved, that's what I don't like. And because of what Connor did, 3 fights got off the card,
Yeah.
and 3 people are losing payouts, even though they're getting paid for show up. I mean, that's not going to cover a fight camp or managers or whatever.
Yeah.
So It's. I just hope Conor gets what he deserves.
Yeah. Well, not sure what's going to happen with him in the UFC. I don't know what kind of punishment they're going to actually hand him. They'll probably give him like some type of suspension, maybe 6 months or whatever. I don't think much is going to happen on the UFC side. I think they're going to leave it for the authorities and lawsuits, which
Mm.
I think McGregor is going to have a lot to deal with in that realm. I think UFC, I think will give him 6 months. I don't see him giving him more than that. Um,
They should ban or fire. Or not ban, but they should fire Artem just to get into Conor's head.
which I mean that is good. I mean, no one's talked about that. I don't think Dana's brought that up. I'm sure Artem's going to have his issues of his own. No one's actually mentioned that. What would happen to him or any of the Mac Life. That's who the outlet was. They might not even get credentialed. I'm sure they won't. Um, Anybody else that was involved, I don't know how the UFC is going to handle this. It's tough because it's their biggest star. You know what I mean? It'd be like Ronda Rousey's crew, and it's like, dude, it's Ronda. What do you do? You know what I mean? As a business, it's like telling LeBron James, hey,
Yeah, but
you fucked up.
Conor's not bigger than the sport.
In in some respects, no. Most respects, no. But he's in terms of
They,
power,
they need to like step in and and stop
yeah,
all that.
yeah. I don't see that happening.
No, me
Sadly,
neither.
I don't see that happening. Um, Now, my take on the whole thing was, yeah, I think it on his part, it was wrong in that sense. What he did, it was over across the line. A fighters got hurt. That's probably the worst part about it, right there.
And UFC employees.
Yeah, UFC employees too got injured. We've seen antics like that in the past, but this probably the worst because it other people who weren't necessarily involved became victims, which is probably the worst part. Not in the least condoning that. That's obviously the worst part about the whole story. Um, Now, if we're talking about the incident itself, I mean, I could see why Connor did it because we've seen it time again before where he's acted out or like somebody from one camp messes with somebody from another camp and they end up having some type of like melee in the ring or even outside the ring. We've seen a bunch of times on Strike Force and Elite XC and
But those incidents were focused on the party at hand, not any outside parties.
yeah, obviously,
Yeah.
obviously. But for me, I mean, I maybe not looking at it sympathetically. I think it's good publicity. I mean, I think this hypes
Okay.
up the Khabib fight and Connor down the line. It's going to be one of the biggest UFC fights ever, for one thing, because the heat is on. It's been on. Now the mainstream public is on this fight and the beef between them. It's not just hardcores anymore. This is mainstream. Um, so I think that fight eventually, I think, will happen, should happen. And a lot of people feel that that's a punishment Conor deserves. Give him Khabib. Khabib, people are obviously picking Khabib to win. And obviously that's a punishment by Khabib is pretty brutal. But I looked at like I don't know if you saw Nate Diaz's tweet.
Mhm.
I looked at it like that. I'm like, it's kind of like a Biggie Tupac, East Coast West Coast type of thing where you mess it like almost like a gang type of thing. You mess with one guy, and you got retaliation, and there's victims obviously in the crossfire, which is unfortunate. Um,
It puts a black guy in the sport, in my opinion.
it does, but if you look at the mainstream media, they're not even looking at it as like, oh, this is disgusting. The sport is horrible. They're eating it up, and they're looking at it more as
It's a publicity
like it
stunt. It's
was
fake.
staged.
Yeah,
You know
it's
what I
staged.
mean?
Yeah.
Which is, I think, ridiculous. This kind of stuff is
I
not
think that's
staged.
that's bad publicity. That's bad press for the UFC
Yeah,
saying that they would say something like that.
yeah,
It's
because
bad.
they think it's like some WWE thing. You know what I mean? Like because there's a kind of a crossover there, so it's like associated with WWE for some reason. Um,
Because MMA is the evolution of pro wrestling.
yeah, in a lot of ways, yeah. Um, but it's yeah. So to me, I get you know the negative aspects of it is and the fact that the people got hurt that weren't necessarily involved. But on the flip side, I get why it happened, and I also can see the benefits for almost all parties involved, like Khabib, because this if it goes through and they get the fight, if they match up the fight, Khabib's going to be making a fortune. Conor's going to make a fortune. The UFC is going to make a fortune. It's good business, and then bad publicity is in a lot of ways not so bad. It's a lot of it. Bad is equals to good publicity, no matter what. You got people talking. You got people talking about. So that's my take on it. I feel bad for Ray Borg and I feel bad for Chiesa and any of the employees that got hurt. But we've seen it before. We've seen time again. I mean, I remember we were just talking about Khabib and Nate Diaz's team. They were fighting out in Planet Hollywood in the little Miracle Mall, throwing chairs everywhere and just swinging fists, and random people were getting caught up in that too. So it's happened before, you know what I mean? And obviously the UFC has never done anything like that, and they didn't punish Nate Diaz or Khabib's team. This is a little bit different. This is a lot different, I guess, in a lot of ways. But it's crazy week, Yeah, crazy thing. I don't think I've ever seen anything like this, really. No, like in 1 week span, I don't think we've ever seen anything like this. Huh?
Never.
Like
crazy.
Yeah, we've seen stuff happen and obviously pullouts of fights, but it's probably one of the craziest weeks ever. Arrests, injuries. Just so many things. Very interesting week. And obviously there's videos everywhere. I don't know what's going to necessarily happen with Conor. I think he's got enough money to fight off the legal fees, and the legal court hearings for any assault charges or any of that stuff. I think he's got enough money to make that go away. That just happens in our world, basically, you got money, things go away a lot easier. It's a lot easier for you. When we're talking about lawsuits, that's where it might get tricky, because you got probably the bus company that's going to sue him. You got fighters that are probably going to sue him. So he's got probably a couple of lawsuits on his hands.
Civil lawsuits.
Yeah, he's going to have to fork over some cash.
A lot of cash. Like multi-million sues for each person.
Possibly. Now, what do you think about the fighters that will go that route?
I would do the same thing.
Would you do the same thing?
Yeah, because he's taking a paycheck out of my fight. I mean, the guys are scheduled to be paid.
Now, if let's say the hell out of him. Let's say the Chiesa sues for $100 million. How do you think that? I guess he might not even get $100 million, but
no.
But let's say he sues for $100 million.
Yeah, I'd say Chiesa, because he wasn't involved in Conor.
Yeah.
What Conor did, lacerated his face, and then he can't compete, and now he's not getting paid.
Well, I think
well, screw that.
Yeah, he couldn't get. Yeah,
I took the hell out of him. And plus, knowing that he has money, heck yeah, anybody would.
That's a bad thing. Yeah, people know you have money.
Yeah, exactly. I'd sue the hell out of Conor McGregor if I was Chiesa, and I'd side sue any fighter that sues him.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I personally, I think it'll make him look bad. I think it makes him look bad.
I do it
because you're going the easy.
I think people would sympathize with the fighters because they weren't involved in the incident, and then he took away a paycheck from him.
It's almost like we're what's his name? Who's the one that's fighting Dos Anjos?
Yeah, but that situation was different, Kobe, because because he assaulted Verdum, and Verdum. I mean he pretty much tried to fight with Verdum, and Verdum,
Verdum reacted. Assaulted him. Yeah,
that's different.
But then he pressed charges.
Because he went looking for the fight.
Yeah,
it's different. These guys weren't even involved. They weren't really looking for no one. They were keeping their own business. They were to themselves, and then Conor came and hurt them. It's
Yeah.
completely different. Kobe
Yeah.
went after Verdum. Verdum reacted to
Yeah.
it and assaulted him, and then Kobe called the cops after talking crap to Verdum.
Yeah.
That's different. These guys had nothing to do with the situation.
Yeah.
They didn't go after Connor. Connor went after them, and they caused them a paycheck. So
Yeah.
it's a complete different situation.
Now, do you think this is a downward spiral for Connor? Because this is not the
Uh,
first. This is not the first
it's in a
altercation
lot of
he's had.
ways. It's he's going down the John Jones path.
You think in a lot of ways, yeah.
Mhm.
Hmm. Yeah, you start to wonder because he had that altercation in the Bellator cage when he jumped over and
He's
got
crazy.
into a fight with Mark Goddard.
He thinks he's bigger than anybody.
Yeah, yeah,
He's, I mean, to have civil lawsuits, that's crazy. And then one of the UFC employees got their hands broken, so
yeah, yeah,
and told Dana that they're gonna sue him for a lot of money. So yeah, it's crazy.
yeah. It's crazy. That's yeah. That's I can see that happening too. Hmm.
And
Yeah, I don't
you
know.
can't fault any of those guys
No, no, you can't. Um,
because Kiss is not making Conor McGregor money.
no,
Kiss is
not at
probably
all.
getting like mid card level
Yeah,
money. So the money that he makes off of fights, he depends on it, and when
yeah.
that's taken away from you, and he has to pay his manager, that's yeah.
Now, are
I
you
don't think that he's not gonna be looked upon bad in any way. I think people are gonna side with him if
now
that
are
happens.
you a Connor fan anymore?
Uh, I'm fan, I mean I'm a fan of his fighting, but not him as a person.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. Uh, Me, I don't know. I mean, I see the wrong in his actions, for sure, and I think he definitely crossed the line. Um, but to me, I think it adds to his in a lot of ways his legacy, and not in a like not in a good way, but he's gonna be remembered. That's for sure. That's for sure. He's got a mugshot out there. People remember those. Um, yeah, I mean, hopefully this is the last act because if he keeps on down this path,
I think it's gonna keep he's gonna keep going. I don't see him stopping here.
I see. I think he might stop here. I would give him. I don't think he's going to go John Jones because John Jones I think was
I
a
mean,
little bit different. He had more substance and
yeah.
more a lot of
That's a scary
low key things to hide.
that Connor was sober and he has a kid and that stuff that
I think he was
all
sober.
that stuff doesn't
He
matter to Connor.
because if you look at why he did it, and that's why I equate it to like almost like a gang beef almost in a lot of ways. Like because he the only thing he said to Dana White and Dana was I had to do it. Why? I mean, the only thing I can think of why, and if you look at Nate Diaz's tweet about it, um, it's that mentality. It's you roll up on, I mean, you roll up on somebody's. Khabib rolled up and his crew rolled up on Arden Labov alone, cornered him, confronted him, and and they got retaliated on. And it's that mentality. The Diaz brothers do it often. They've done it multiple times actually. Hopped in the cage and started fighting with Jason Mayhem Miller. Remember with the Strike Force? You've done it a bunch of times.
It's
So
been different though.
yeah, it's that. I know. Yeah, it's been different. Yeah, people get hurt. Yes, I understand. But it's that mentality to where it's almost like they don't want to back down. It's a pride mentality. So like, if Connor's crew, cornered one of Khabib's people, and we're talking shit in their face and try to, they're alone, I would expect Khabib's people to retaliate in some way, and you'll probably see a brawl backstage. It's happened plenty of times.
Now, I mean, I can see with other fighters. I don't think
No,
everyone's
no, I don't think
has
everybody's gonna get hurt.
has that immaturity like that gang immaturity mindset where they would do something like that harsh. And
But
I don't see Khabib retaliating in that way.
they
That
have
happened.
though. They have though. They got into altercations with the Diaz brothers out in public,
No, I'm
throwing
saying
chairs
yeah,
everywhere.
but you're giving an example of the tables are turned and Connor was the one that did it to Khabib's guy. I don't think Khabib would.
I don't
Do
think
that.
he'll do it with Connor did and like went after them. I think if they were somehow to meet in public again, I think definitely there would
Yeah,
be a
yeah,
altercation.
but he wouldn't go
I don't
out of
think he'll
his
go out of
way
his way.
to look for him like that.
No, no, I don't think he'll go out of his way.
Yeah,
No, not at all.
'cause not everyone has that gangster immaturity,
Yeah, no,
eighth grader mentality
no. But
to do stuff like that.
to me, I don't know what you want to call. I'm not that upset about the situation. Like I don't know. A lot of people, I think, like obviously, I don't know if Dana. I don't even know if Dana is though. You know, because
Yeah,
obviously,
he says the most disgusting thing he's ever seen in his career.
but he kind of has to see that. You don't think in the back of his mind, he's like, cha-ching. Like I'm gonna set this
He
Khabib,
said that he
and
texted Connor and it wasn't good. And he rather not say it. He said that I don't know. He said that it's going to be a very harsh punishment that the UFC is going to give to Connor.
I think they'll. We'll see. We'll see what they do. I don't know if they're gonna do much. They're not gonna.
And the fact that Connor's not is not apologetic about what he did is
No, not at all.
scary.
Yeah, not at all.
It's like
Um,
a little eighth grader running around.
but to me, I thought it was. Yeah, I thought it was. I thought it was. I thought it was gangster, man. I did. I may be in the wrong about it, but I was just like, that's what happens. It's a fight game, man. You see it all the time. You see Tyson and his crew fighting and beating each other up on stage at a press conference. Is like that's the fight world. You don't see that in other sports. You know what I mean? So I think when the mainstream media is like shocked by it and calling it a stunt, I'm like, it's not. This is a fight game. You're dealing with people that punch each other for a living. You know what I mean? You're dealing with all kinds of mentalities, and they're not shy to throw a punch. You know what I mean? You might go to a basketball game and they get into an argument and nothing happens. You know what I mean? You got a whole team out there and nothing happens. Not in the fight game. You know, people are short fuses in the fight game. It's crazy. Um, but interesting week. Um, Now, what do you think about? I know there's so much to cover. I almost forgot like all the stuff that's gone on. Um, oh yeah, and then Benson Henderson won his fight against Roger Huerta tonight.
Mm.
Completely overshadowed. Wasn't even mentioned. Um, so the fight is a 9-fight card now. Nurmagomedov versus Iaquinta. Do you give Iaquinta any chance? Really?
No.
No. Do you think it makes that a one? The first round?
Maybe second.
Maybe it goes the distance.
Second round, maybe.
Yeah. Yeah, I think he's gonna get demolished. I mean, he agreed to. I mean, give him props, man. He agreed to a 5-round fight. Um, he's going for that title. I mean, you can't. I think not a lot of people would. I think take that fight. If it was anybody else, I think they would. Um, you have Rose Namajunas still on for Joanna Jędrzejczyk. Not sure how this affects their fight, obviously, because Rose, I think, was on that bus. I think she's resilient enough to.
She almost didn't. She almost quit on that fight.
Yeah. I can see it mentally mess some people up. But you know, they're fighters. They're not. Yeah, they're fighters. If they were to back out just for emotional problems, that's one thing. But
I mean, I wouldn't blame her either.
No, obviously, I mean, how could you really? But I think she's more resilient than that. I think it more affects their focus. You know what I mean? Even Khabib, I think this. How can you not? I don't even know. I understand how that guy is still in mindset in the game. You know what I mean? Because switching of opponents, three, 4, 5 opponents in 1 week, and then dealing with this, dealing with the Conor feud. I don't know how you keep that focus. But the card is demolished now. The card is it's a shadow of what it once was. 13 fights, pretty decent main card, pretty decent undercard. Personally, I felt a lot of these undercards on the prelims could have just been moved up. The undercard's better than the main card in a lot of ways, aside from the top 2 fights. But a lot of changes to there. Let me see. So obviously, other news, you have Lesnar potentially making his way back. So I'm gonna touch on that. He's still a contracted fighter, still part of the game. Still being now he's got to go through USADA testing, and they're looking to put him up against the winner of Cormier and Stipe.
Hmm.
So that's the rumblings around here, and both of those fighters at the press conference were like, they were ecstatic. They're like, especially Cormier. He's like, you fight Brock, you get money, you get paid. He's like, please give me that fight. After this, please give me that fight.
Yeah, that'd be crazy.
So I mean, what do you think about that announcement today? Because that was a revelation by.
I don't think it's gonna happen. I think Brock's gonna go where the money's at, and I think Vince is gonna pull him back.
Oh, he hasn't signed yet, huh?
No, I think this is all played. This is all Brock. Brock Lesnar does it every year.
Mm-hmm.
I think Vince is gonna sign him. I think he's gonna stick with the WWE next year.
You don't think he'll at least fight once and then go back to WWE?
I think he's gonna go to WWE.
Yeah, because he did that last time though, right? Didn't he fight Mark Hunt and then go to WWE?
Well, because WWE let him out.
Or how did that work? Was he already contracted with them?
No, he was contracted with the WWE only.
Uh-huh.
WWE let the UFC borrow him for that one fight.
Yeah. I don't put his chances against much of the heavyweight division anymore. I mean,
yeah.
Although a lot of the guys are older now, so he still might have some type of a chance, but not against.
Schedule. He's not getting hurt. He's getting paid way more than the UFC can ever offer him.
Yeah, you don't think he's going to actually do it? Dana says he's for sure coming back. He's for sure.
Dana also says a lot of things.
Yeah.
He's not very honest.
Yeah.
But I don't think it's gonna happen.
Yeah,
I think he's gonna stick with the WWE. Who knows? I mean, maybe if he does, I feel bad for Brock.
Yeah.
Because that power, that star power, can only hold for so long. If you keep losing fights, and I don't know, I think your drawing power kind of lessens.
Yeah.
And I don't see Brock beating anybody in the top 5.
No, I don't see him being. Well, it depends. No, not, and especially
not
if
top 5.
Especially if he's clean.
Yeah, top 10, maybe he can beat someone in the top 10, but top 5 definitely not.
Yeah.
I say just put him against Overeem.
That'll be interesting. Especially interesting because both of them clean.
Yeah,
that'll be interesting.
Yeah, just put him again, and then the winner could fight the champion.
Yeah, that'll be interesting. And I think in the first fight he didn't go for Overeem in the takedown department. He went for Kane in the takedowns, and he chose to stand up with Overeem, which is stupid. But I think obviously he'll probably go at it differently this time around. That'll be an interesting matchup. A lot of it's crazy. It's crazy. We had to do a show today because it was, how could we not? After the last 24 hours, even a week like this, it's insane.
Crazy.
I know you got stuff to do this weekend, but you said you might not catch the fights, huh?
I'm not interested in it now. I'm probably this white. I think UFC on Fox releases their highlights after the fights, so I'm probably gonna wait. Yeah. I'm gonna focus my attention to Wrestlemania weekend and all the indie matches this weekend.
Now, are they happening Friday, Saturday, Sunday, or is it just all on Sunday?
No, there's it's all weekend. I think Way and John are there. I think they're going in like 14 shows this weekend. I think they went to like 4 today. They're going to another like 6 tomorrow, and I think tomorrow's the NXT. Today was the Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
Tomorrow's the NXT takeover, and Sunday's WrestleMania. But the indie shows are happening, like ROH. Bunch of, I think Matt Riddle's doing nine wrestling matches. It's like a wrestling Comic-Con almost.
Yeah, and our good friends Wei Ting and John Pollock from the Post Wrestling podcast are all there. Did you see their set?
Yeah.
For their live show?
Mm-hmm.
Where did that come from? Is that from the money from the fans that they had?
Yeah, I guess so.
Damn, I was looking at it, I was like, holy shit.
Yeah, I know.
Way bigger setup than they had last year. Mm-hmm. Crazy.
Yeah. That's what happens when you have a name.
Yeah, and they're not even with the company, they're independent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Their flights were handled by a patron paying for the plane ticket, hotel,
crazy.
Food. All that stuff was being paid by their Patreon.
Yeah, crazy, man. Yeah, I was at their last one when they were actually with the company, the Fight Network. Like really easy, minimal setup. This year, blew it away.
Packed house, and they had Mark Henry. They had Mark Henry on there. They had Dave Meltzer, some other wrestlers.
It's insane, man. Good for them. Yeah, I saw their videos and their posts and all that. Really, really good stuff. This week, yeah, it's Sunday WrestleMania. It's an all day thing, huh? Basically, huh? Like
8
8 hours.
hours. I'm not gonna watch 8 hours of it.
Are you gonna Are
I'm
you gonna
gonna
watch it while it's happening or
no,
no?
no. I'm gonna watch it after so I can fast forward through all the BS.
Okay,
A
okay,
lot of it's filler.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, they're gonna have being inducted to the Hall of Fame.
Jeff Jarrett, Mark Henry, and a few others. I can't
Yes.
talk. I can't think of the top of the mind. I know Mark Henry and Jeff Jarrett are the top two that I can remember.
Yeah, I went to just with Jeff Jarrett. I went to a promotion, his promotion. I don't know if it's still going on.
Mm.
It's like New World Wrestling or New something like that. It was in Vegas. They had a couple of shows in Vegas at the Hard Rock. So pretty good. I mean, he came out, looked normal, looked good.
I know. Yeah, he looks pretty good
Yeah, yeah,
for his age.
yeah, yeah. He never seemed like one of those guys that took a lot of steroids or anything like that.
No, he didn't.
Um, yeah, no, yeah, that's pretty cool. Um, I'm wondering how, in terms of obviously hardcore fans for WWE are going to watch, and they're going to have obviously their casual friends and all that. But do you think a lot of the UFC news, which has taken up the week, basically hurt the exposure for WrestleMania? I mean, how many people are thinking about
No,
WrestleMania
because
this
I
week?
mean UFC is like UFC 200. It sells itself, and the WWE isn't in the pay per view business.
Yeah,
It's pretty much all their streaming sites,
yeah, yeah.
and
They control the
people.
numbers and
Yeah, people know that if they want to see WrestleMania, all they got to do is pay $10 for the site,
yeah,
and they get
and
it.
not a lot of people. I'm talking about more casual fans
No,
because I know
I think casual fans are going to tune in because of Ronda Rousey,
that's
and I
true.
think it doesn't matter about what's going on with the UFC and their headlines because the WWE necessarily doesn't depend on pay per view buys, and they're not. Um, I mean,
They have their fan base.
WrestleMania sells itself.
Yeah, their fan bases are completely separate.
Yeah,
Casuals, I mean, they're the casuals who had interest in both, and some in one or the other, and some in none at all. I'm
yeah.
just talking about in terms of exposure. With the UFC's exposure this week, I'm wondering how much of the casual fan base that weren't even thinking about either one of them, how it affected them. You know what I mean? Like, did
I
it
think they're going to tune in because of Ronda Rousey.
probably?
Everyone's intrigued about how she's going to look on the very first match, and I
Yeah,
think that alone is going to draw people in. Ronda Rousey's fans who never watched wrestling are going to watch this weekend,
yeah,
and their friends are going to watch it. So that a bunch of casual people are going to watch it.
yeah. I think the ones who where it was on their radar, I think are definitely going to watch it. I
Yeah,
think, or at least thinking about it.
yeah,
Oh, yeah. Ronda's this week. Ronda's tomorrow, huh?
yeah. Her and Kurt Angle are going to
The
go
two
on.
biggest UFC stars making waves this weekend. It's like
Yeah, two former champions.
Rousey and Connor.
Oh yeah,
It was interesting. It's gonna be cool, man. It's gonna be cool.
I'm
Tomorrow,
excited.
yeah. I was excited to actually. I was planning to watch both. I was planning because I have a friend from work that was gonna watch it. I was gonna just head over there on Sunday, or I don't know. I didn't know that you were gonna be out of town until after.
Yeah,
Um, and then the UFC was this weekend, but
mm.
I mean, I'll probably just watch the UFC from home, maybe catch the highlights. There's only a couple of fights on there that I'm interested in anyway,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
um,
Same here.
find some way to watch it. Wink, and then and then the WrestleMania. I mean, I most likely I'll probably just end up just staying home and hearing about it from you or something like that
Yeah,
because
you can always watch on the network.
yeah, oh yeah, that's true. Huh? I could probably I'll be home. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, just text me because I always forget to give you the logins. Just text me and I'll send you the logins.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. I like to tune
I
in
mean,
for that.
it's the app you can watch it on your Chromecast.
Yeah, yeah. I didn't even think about that.
That's what I'm gonna do.
I was like, I wonder how I'm
Just
gonna watch it, but
just like cover your TV, your phone screen so you can't see the results.
yeah, yeah,
Stay off social media.
yeah,
That's not what I'm doing. I want to stay off of social media until I watch it again.
yeah. Um, Another quick news out there in the UFC realm, you got Ben Rothwell has been suspended for 2 years, um, getting flagged by USADA. I think I forgot what it was. This one kind of flew under the radar
Yeah,
because of
a banned substance.
yeah, it's anadronic anabolic steroid. So he's out for 2 years. So we're not going to see Rothwell for a while. And he's already kind of in his mid-30s already. So
yeah,
he's
I mean, no one really cares.
no.
He was getting. I think his peak was like about a year ago when he choked out Verdun. Was it Verdun?
No, was it Verdun?
No, who was it? Was it Overeem? No, he knocked out Overeem.
No, he knocked out Overeem. He was in that span when he knocked out Overeem and a couple other ones.
That was the peak of his UFC career. Yeah, and since then, since he lost to Dos Santos,
I think Dos Santos. It's been so long since I've seen a fight.
Know. Yeah. No one really cares.
Yeah, I know.
That's kind of
plus,
sad.
you know what? Even if he comes back after 2 years, he finishes out a UFC contract, or he goes to say Bellator.
He's in the heavyweight division. Heavyweight, like you can be 40 and still be relevant.
Fight. Exactly. You'll probably be number one contender after a couple of fights.
After one fight.
After one fight. Let's see. I mean, what else did we touch on?
Let's go with some fight picks.
Yeah, let's go with some fight picks. Well, Ayakinta, Nurmagomedov. Who do you have in this one?
Habib.
Habib
Via TKO.
Yeah. I don't see Ayakinta going the full distance. I say he probably gets stopped in somewhere in the third. I think Khabib's just gonna. Now, do you think possibility Khabib calling out Conor? Not calling out Conor.
Calling out Conor for sure.
Out Conor.
He's smart.
Yeah, make that fight happen. That's Rose.
Help Conor's case for sure.
Yeah, Rose Namajunas, Jan Jacek.
I like Rose. I've become a big fan of hers.
Yeah, me too. I'd probably go with Rose. Yeah, I'd probably go with Rose. I feel bad for Joanna because it's but if let's say Joanna pulls it off, get the trilogy rubber match.
Yeah, I'm excited. Yeah, that's one rubber match I'll be excited to watch.
Yeah. Main card, I'm not even really touching on. There's nothing there. Felice Herring, Karolina Kowalkiewicz. Carolina. I'm thinking Felice. Felice has been on a roll. She's changed up a lot. Ashley Evans Smith, Beck Rawlings.
Beck Rawlings.
We know Ashley. Beck Rawlings. Evan Dunham, Olivier Aben Mercier.
Oh, done.
You're going to go Dunham?
Yeah, why not?
Dunham? I'll go to Olivier. That's it. I mean, obviously there's one more other Clark, Devin Clark and all that. But
and for you Ashley fans, you guys ever meet her, don't expect her to remember you the next time you see her.
No. I mean, I don't. Yeah, if you go to a lot of local fights, you're gonna see
Carlos
Parza and Ashley Evans Smith. They're like they're tagging them, man. They anywhere the.
And unless you're famous, they'll recognize you. But if you're like nobody's like us, yeah.
Esparza maybe.
As far as at least acknowledges, says hi and gives us a hug.
Cool in a lot of ways, but Ashley Evans Smith, no.
Who? What? Who?
What?
Who are you?
What?
Honey, these two Mexicans are bothering me.
But other than that, man, anything else going on? My car broke down. Got towed on the way over here.
Horrible. You made quite a scene.
There was
quite an
that.
entrance.
I'm sure my neighbors are used to that already.
That's sad.
Oh, tow truck. You got this car towed again. Okay.
Oh, God, it sucks.
Yeah, the MMA Complex doesn't pay that well. Okay, go on.
Oh, speaking of which, there's a butcher at Vaughn's that watches the show.
No.
Yeah. And he said...
Did you get approached?
Yeah, so he wants to... he want to get a shout out. So Lance from the Vaughn's, the meat department guy, thank you for your support, and shout out to Lance.
What's up, Lance? Nice.
So if you want to go get your meat cut, go to Lance. All right. He's like, he was bugging me to don't forget. So Lance, there's your shout out.
So do you see him often? Do you go into Vaughn's?
I went in there and yeah, he was.
What did he say to you though?
He's like, hey, you have the MMA Complex show.
No, really?
Yeah, he watches the show.
That's crazy.
And then I'm like, no, and he showed me his phone. He's subscribed to the show and everything. Yeah. He's not a family member that subscribes to us, which is kind of
good. Cousin? You know your cousin Lance? Oh, we also knew Lance. Remember not?
Oh yeah, that's right. I wouldn't happen to that guy.
Yeah, I know.
But no, he's like you couldn't have scripted. He showed me his photo and everything. He's subscribed.
That's cool, man.
So Lance,
Shout out to Lance.
Thanks for supporting the show.
That's our second time.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy.
Well, at least somebody's watching.
Yeah,
Um,
we're not sacrificing our sleep for nothing.
exactly right. And in the mean, yeah. Speaking on that, we're gonna cut the short. We're gonna cut it short tonight. Gotta wake up early.
Well, it's a pretty long show, anyways.
Yeah. It's a long show. So everything on the MMA Complex show next week. It's gonna be crazy. We recap everything.
Yeah. So enjoy the fights and enjoy your week.